So, at the conclusion of the latest chapter in the Tales of Arcadia series, we saw the destruction of the Trollhunter amulet and Jim's return to being a human after a stint as a half-troll. Obviously, after spending the majority of Trollhunters 3 Below and Wizards as a mystical warrior with great power and abilities, it was weird to see Jim just become Jim, with no powers or abilities at all. So that poses the question, what role does Jim have going forward? Does he still play a key role in the saga, or does he just fall away into the background? So I've come up with a few scenarios that I think are the most likely direction to take Jim's arc in the upcoming film, Rise of the Titans. The first, I think, is the most obvious. At the end of Wizards, Jim was encouraged to try and lift King Arthur's fabled sword, Excalibur. Obviously though, he didn't manage to draw it out of the stone and he seemed to lack any real confidence. Narratively speaking, it would make sense if this self-doubt continues to manifest itself going forward into the film. He could learn to accept that he's no longer the Trollhunter, but he's still a guardian of Arcadia, and he still has an important role to play going forward. It makes sense to drop hints early that he's going to use the sword in the final battle with the Arcane Order, and the sword is super powerful and magically enhanced. Whilst I'd like it if it went to Steve, it really makes sense for it to go to Jim so he can fight on the level of Dukesy or the Acaridians when it comes down to the final battle. You can't just depower the main character and leave him weak forever, and giving him Excalibur can remedy that problem. The only real problem with this idea is that it means that for the majority of the film, Jim will be crippled by self-doubts and stay out of the action. He did this in Wizards already, and wasn't really seen in 3 Below very much, so it might just be a tad too long to not have some epic Jim moments. The next idea I had is that Dukesy and Claire create a new amulet for Jim to wield. Now, when you first think about it, this theory does make sense to an extent. We saw that it takes 2 Master Wizards to create an amulet of power like the Trollhunter amulet. So why not Dukesy and his new apprentice? It would give Jim a familiar but new design for his armor and weapons to represent his role in not just protecting trolls, but aliens and wizards and all manner of magical creatures. But there are still problems with this particular theory. Chief among these was just mentioned before. You need 2 Master Wizards, and as powerful as Claire's seemingly become, this kind of magic is a school that she doesn't really have much experience in, and on top of that, it took Dukesy like 900 years to get to that level. It would be a stretch to make her that skilled overnight, so overall, whilst it seems like quite an obvious sequence of events, I'm not sure it's actually going to play out that way. So all in all, I'd say those are the 2 main ways in which Jim could sort of power up to reach the level of some of the other main heroes, but they still could go a few other directions. He could get beefed up with some Acaridian tech, or maybe the trolls work with him to build some armor to thank him for all he's done for them since he became the Trollhunter. The only problem with that is it sort of relegates him down to the level of a minor hero like Toby or Steve. He wouldn't be able to really go toe-to-toe with any of the Arcane Order and would only really be around to beat up on henchmen. It would be a shame for his character to finish up on a low note like that in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. So what are yours? Do you have any ideas about how they could make Jim a little bit more plot relevant in the upcoming film? Would you like him to be the Trollhunter again, or maybe move in a different direction? Maybe you want to see him take a backseat to some other characters. I'm really keen to hear what you guys think, so let me know.